gotta remember to turn that mic on, John, when y'all are up there talking.
Okay.
That mic, there's a button on a red button on the end, so that we make
Alright.
sure they, I still think they can hear you because Ryan says, Nikki says even with the mics not on, everything right here, because of that mic system, they can
Mhm.
still hear all the conversations through here. So even when people don't think they're on, they're on. As long as Jared has that computer in here going,
Okay.
and he's got it live, even if those aren't on, they can hear. Nikki says, you can hear everything, everything they're saying.
That's good.
It's loud.
Jared, I was telling John, we need to make sure we
Okay.
turn those mics on up there too, before we get started.
So it uses these, but I don't understand. So we like go live into my thing, whether that's off or not, it picks up everything, so. And I just turn it on so I can see that it's running, but then as soon as it comes back quickly, go shut it off. Since we're live sharing,
What's that?
Sure.
those are all green.
Yeah, it'll be these three that we need to turn on.
Sure. Do you have any idea the Red Devil Ranch water? What type of water we're using out there?
Most
Is
of it
it-
is coming out
is
of,
green?
drains.
Is it green water? Mike Davis has asked Kay to look into if it's culinary water, grade A, if it's B level, or, but he says it's constantly running and we're paying for it if we're,
No, so you might recall 3 or 4 years ago, we had a lot of groundwater from transportation. And so they created almost like a really large French drain.
okay,
So it's really a pump that pumps out of that French drain. So it's groundwater and sewage water that's coming up. And for that, that's in it. So there's no other, well, there is one other water source, but it's a small hand spigot that we put outside, so.
okay,
that's
so,
what it's from.
The bad thing is, with Jamie not here, they're supposed to
She's not
start
here?
in here and motion to go in there,
It didn't.
and they didn't. So I have no start time or anything. So when they come out, I'm gonna have to at least ask if they made a motion and everything,
And who made it?
and who
Jame's not
made
here
it and
tonight?
everything.
Jean's not here tonight?
She was late. She's coming. I think I
Okay,
just heard her
okay.
come, but Ryan was getting them started when I went in there a while ago.
don't know who put these.
They're there.
We got another hour today.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why when I saw that the other day, I thought, okay, we fixed it. But, no. So the president needs to,
I sent him a text and haven't heard back from him. I think if he goes in and gets approved, that should
it's done.
take care of it.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
not.
that's not your fault. I
No.
thought, the other day, I thought we had it fixed, because you walked me through, I'm like, yeah, we should go to transfer.
It is my fault.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, you can always release me.
Yeah, I've given that excuse many times.
Just.
They don't have to wait a specific time anymore, now they can just go, and then when they get to the budget part, they can. Remember, wasn't it a couple years ago, they had to wait, okay, $7.
Yeah, no, that's a few years ago. They changed that, so it just needs to be by today.
Yeah. Yes, we'll have a total of, counting the board, we'll have 15 people here tonight.
I was at your house. Oh. Sorry, I had that truck by the garden. You know, then they moved to the first week, it's like, oh.
That's nice. That would be good. Yeah. We didn't have anybody in the audience, we had your principals and tonight was, there's probably on the agenda, but I think.
So how is Doug? It's the price that he gets to pay for the NFL, long lost which is unfortunate. I mean, I don't wish that on anyone. But
I had to have the attendance put in both my knees. And that was bad enough. And it felt like he would have to sit and even have work braces and calluses. He couldn't pull his cycles to work.
Was he doing a full week?
I didn't ask for it. He said he's having
from what I hear now, they do both at the same time.
A lot of people do. And
They said the recovery's better.
when they was just much quicker and he living.
then if you have the action items, real quick.
Most of them won't.
What?
I got trouble swimming out of loaded issue.
I've heard.
And I am like, that I am like for loading.
Didn't play it.
So then I told him like my 5 or 6 experiences with mice. And I
Remember you
don't like
telling me about that, so I wasn't gonna take it from you.
If that thing would come out, I probably had a heart attack.
It wasn't good.
That's what Ryan said it would be.
It was blue on and this.
We knew some people that had it.
These are the issues that go on.
Just gives me goosebumps.
We thought we had, they told us, I'm joking over the super clean. Couldn't find it, so we were like, okay, let's seal that up. And then the next morning, we heard it scratching.
Oh my gosh. It just gives me
One of those little girls that have big branches. It was in the interior.
It was inside?
Yeah, it was inside the wall, downstairs.
I know.
We removed, you know how they have those bicycle heaters? We removed one of those and stuck it out.
Yeah, if I'd gone down and had that key. I'd been because in the hospital are very
Psychiatric Jones, like, hey, somebody's all lost their pet
No good for anything.
Adjourned.
So they come pick that truck and trailer up?
Sorry, what's that?
They come to pick up that truck and trailer?
Also on 35 minutes. For a 2001.
Well, pickup truck that needs at least.
Yeah, we looked and researched. It's a 2000,
A 2000.
and you could buy a good running one for the same price.
The state bank shake. That will go 100%.
I know.
It's
I was
almost a
surprised because,
joke.
yeah, I was kind of surprised the closest one to it was $1,011, which I figured we might get 15 out of it.
State's done pretty good this year with what you've sold and what I've sold in excess equipment.
God, I thought even $5 for that Red River was
I was gonna come to a bid of about $25, because that's all I thought it was. She said it needed new tires.
Didn't have to leave George, I think she's coming for her show.
Other than
Are you been done?
I do not.
How are you? Oh, good. Good, welcome. We have a chair over here.
Oh,
Sherry, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Right there.
Here for your interview.
I gotta sit up here. Can I sit in the back in the corner or something?
No, I'm George, transportation director.
Hi, George. Nice to meet you, Chad.
Good.
See the line you go from store?
yeah. I'll take that. I should have finished.
All right, yeah, all right, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Now what's up?
Just kidding.
Mr. Steve, how are you? Good. Good. Not summer school?
Good, how about for you?
It's good.
I'm a brain.
Yes. On that.
Yes.
So I have a letter that I just sent to me from
Okay. Oh,
They're not legally made.
yeah.
Okay, first off, I don't think you should run to Jeff.
Okay.
It's a line,
Talk to
it
you.
runs to the level, let run to
Yes,
That's, I don't want to.
the. In other words, it's okay, when I have.
Yeah, we'll check first one, if not, it has to clear this.
Yeah, we just had a tendency to have it.
Yeah, we'll try the other first. When you give me a call, how often. See what you got. Okay. Hey, no problem. Thanks. Okay, bye-bye. Sorry,
It's
Sean.
just.
Is it the next stop by?
facility. Trying to work out meeting other customers. These are my agreements with them. They have pallets for my agreements. I couldn't look at this, but they're 50% of the state hospital. Just had to for the basement, use of the buses. But this is going to be like, this is that. But I would, if he says he advises, let him do that, and then it's not.
Yes, we're an interview about. I know it's nice down there, that short, time and then use this car. It is nice having a short time. You get it out exactly.
Makes me say bad words and want to do very good things. Yep, me too. In fact, I do. Okay, is this me?
Well, I've got a couple of spots.
I need the name tag on this side so I can remember where I sit. Well, everybody looks like they've been out in the sunshine this summer anyway. Sorry, can I just get up and stack that way I left in my, just in case, brush through my hair, miss few meetings. Thanks. I'll take another one. Bless you.
Big drinks and everything.
Apparently they didn't, so we're gonna do the motion right now.
Oh, hey, how are you doing?
Good, you guys? Okay. Okay, I have to drive to Cedar City. Really? I have to drive to Cedar City tonight, so
Why, I asked
I'm
you.
all about getting this stuff done, man. Cedar, we are gonna be a wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of night.
I can squeeze it.
Can you do that on a budget hearing, right?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my darndest. Oh my heavens, Doug, both knees?
What did you do, Doug? What's that? What did you do?
You brave soul.
Both?
All right, do we have a motion to come out of executive session and reconvene in open session?
I move that we, so moved. Sorry.
Second that motion.
A second by Dave. Any discussion on the motion?
What's the motion? I didn't-
The motion is to adjourn executive, from Tammy to adjourn executive session and reconvene in open session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, we are in open session. Welcome. I'm a little early, but that's okay. We got places to go, people to see. We're going to get this thing done, and hopefully while it's still daylight. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I'm so fast, I'm not even organized. Let me get here to my agenda. All right. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cassie. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Terrific. Next is the consent agenda. We have minutes from June 4th, payment of the bills, and policy EGAB on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Jenny,
Second.
second by Dave. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. School reports. Who's on the agenda?
I don't think we have any, and you'll see why in just a few
Even
minutes.
better.
But what I would
We
like to
love
do...
you, but even better.
As a department report, is I would like to introduce Linda Martin. Have her come forward. Linda is our new food service director. And Linda, why don't you just tell the board a little bit about yourself and anything you want them to know, or anything you don't want them to know.
Yeah, we'll skip that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Linda Martin. I come to you from Green River. I was the food service director there for 10 years. I'm very excited to be here in Evanston. I love this town. I've loved it for a long time. So I'm looking forward to living in your community and being a part of this amazing school district.
Welcome, we're glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Ryan, we have next a presentation of the High Reliability School Certification.
Yeah.
No, we have another tech report?
Yes, how about an update? We figured this would be the best place to do it, school
All right,
report.
then I won't jump ahead.
It is
Tech
fast.
report.
It's really fast.
Even better. We're gonna be so fast, Sheila will miss everything. No? Okay. One can hope.
Sorry, I forgot all about it.
As I get set up here, I just wanted to quickly share with you just kind of where we are with some of the summer projects, especially two of our biggest ones, so that you kind of see the progress of what's going on there. So, Madam Chair, members of the board, as you guys remember, two of the big projects we have is Evanston Middle School and then Evanston High School. And at Evanston Middle School, we've got the re-roofing. And at this point, I'm going to show you just kind of three things. So the existing roof is right down there below you, kind of in the gray here. Is that?
Maybe not.
Voila.
Right there. So that's the existing roof. Then you'll notice the white, and those are those foam panels that they're putting in. Then right here in this one corner, right up above, actually Brian's finger, is an 1/8 millimeter board that they're putting on, and then they've got the ice and snow shield that is that next layer there.
Okay.
That is all completed on all the portions of the roof, and the next portion that will go up will be the next portion of the metal roof. As you can see, they've done an excellent job with that, putting that everywhere and making a really weather-tight fit. So Ryan and I had the opportunity last week to walk up there, and work is just moving right along. Everything's on schedule. They'll probably button it up mid-September, but most of the heavy stuff will be completed before kids are back in school. And so we're really excited and pleased with the progress that's happened there.
If it works and we no longer have leaks, we will throw a party.
Madam Chair, members of the board, if I can, it's not very hard as you go up there to see that this one's going to work. These guys are craftsmen, which we didn't have before.
We've never had it before.
The other thing that you can't see, but is a bonus, is now there's a way from inside the building to get to the roof. Remember we were told we couldn't do that? Well, just looking at the structure and how they're going to deal with the peaks and valleys, this will work. It's just unfortunate that it's taken, this is now 2.1 million of the state's money to make this weather tight. But I'm excited.
So those 5 guys
From said construction work craftsman.
You can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
All right, that's great. Okay.
As Brian attests, the craftsmanship is really good. We've been really pleased, and the 30-year warranty on this really makes me happy. And so
Yes.
it will be a party, and we'll know. Well, I can tell you, if you remember the big rainstorm that happened over the 4th of July, when
Yes.
that rain came down, we didn't get a single bit of rain or water inside EMS.
And
That's
that was
the
a
first
pretty good
time
that's
test.
the
That was
first
kind of a
time.
deluge and
Since
hail.
1965.
1968.
So, and at that point, this is what was on there. So they hadn't even
So it
put
wasn't
the
even
new,
finished
they
yet.
hadn't, yeah.
Wow.
And we didn't get a single drop of water. So
Woohoo!
that, and like I said, that was a good downpour that came down.
Yeah, no, that was a good test.
Yeah, yep. Really quickly, the high school. This is the new carpet in the classrooms. All of the classrooms are done except 3 upstairs and then 2 over by the gymnasium, the band and choir room.
Okay.
But the rest of the classroom carpet has all been laid. This is what the tile looks like in the science rooms.
Very nice.
In the shop rooms between welding and auto, and then similar to what it'll look like in the main commons area cafeteria. And they started laying that today. So kind of get an idea of that.
Very
Looks
nice.
really, really nice. So this is when they had the carpet all pulled out. You'll also notice those new white walls there. Carpet used to be on those walls. We've taken the carpet out, had a sheetrocker come in, and this has all now been sheetrocked
Much better.
and painted. And that's the way all the pony walls look upstairs. And then, if you might recall, downstairs, that carpet used to go all the way to the floor. We came up roughly about 3 feet, had that cut all the way down on that first floor, and that has all been sheetrocked, painted, and ready. And so, looks really, really nice. And as you can see with the hallway carpet, really has a nice contrast with what's happening there.
Yes, I think I mentioned in June that there were some unanticipated costs. All that drywall was unanticipated. The reason why the baseboard that was on there before actually attached to the studs. So when you came up the 3 inches, there's nothing behind it. So the vinyl baseboard couldn't attach to the studs. So we put that up. Actually, I think it has a nice look.
It looks better.
Yeah. Hallway carpet, that's your 8-inch baseboard, just clean. Actually brightens up the hallways quite a bit
Yeah,
when you
it
get in
does.
there. Looks really good. This is the media center. They've got the contrast of both carpets because this is kind of the walkway between the
Okay.
2 hallways. They did that, and then the other. And so really coming together really nicely in what it's doing. So this was the seminar room.
Right.
We've opened that up. This was within the first week of June at this point. This is what it looks like now. Those metal beams there will hold bifolding glass doors that will open up on each side. So that's all been sheetrocked, painted, and ready for the floor guys to finish underneath, and then Deruze will come in with the bifold glass doors and get that. Seminar room has been taken down. LED lighting went in this week, and so really looks nice. This is what, of course, it looked like with that there, and then as we've cleared it out, this is prior before the wall came out. So
nice.
it's come a long ways. I'm really excited about that. Moved a door. I don't know, Kay might remember this. Dave will remember this. This door frame was before those bathrooms upstairs. So if the kids needed to use the restroom during lunch, they had to go downstairs to use that. We went ahead while we were in this process, moved that door frame back so that the students can now use the boys and girls bathroom right there during
That's just so
lunch.
logical.
Drinking fountain.
Drinking fountain, everything right there. And so that's what that looks like now, all sheetrocked and finished.
Nice.
So really coming together. This right here was where those fire separation panels were. There was a 4-foot pony wall
Right.
Previously, some
And it was
glass.
brick, right?
What was that?
It was brick?
Yes.
Brick, about 4 foot up. Then the one portion was glass. That's all now been opened up. We'll have new floor-to-ceiling fire separation walls that'll come in. And only when a fire will that come down, so the rest of the time, you'll have a nice open flow right through to the cafeteria, as you can see right
Very
now.
nice.
This kind of gives you an idea of that angle, but you'll also notice where the guy's painting right now, that used to be where the 4-foot pony walls were for the amp room and all the glass.
Right.
That's all been removed.
So you just,
And
they
I like
can spread
that.
out and have all those tables and
Yep.
much better.
Really opens it up. This is the Devil's Den. We've added probably twice as much storage now for the high school kitchen up there. We will create 2 serving lines here. This is the opening. This metal here will house 2 security gates, kind of like you have at the mall, that will come down to separate. Kind of where that red chair is, as you see in the background, that's where 2 serving lines will be. So they'll come in on each side, and right in front of the wall that's in the middle is where the 2 cashiers will stand. There'll be a built-in for them, and they'll be able to
Okay.
generate 2 lines right there. All of the lighting here has been upgraded to LED lighting, and all the lighting now in the Devil's Den has been upgraded to LED lighting. That's what it looks like now with the painted
Very nice.
metal. This is the kitchen. So what you're looking at right now, there used to be a wall to that red beam, and then there was double doors, and then a wall on the other side. We've now removed all of that. Right in front of you, you'll see 3 black 4-inch pipes. We had to move those because that's right where the cashiers would stand. Those have been moved and tucked away within the wall that you'll see here in just a minute. And so that gives you another perspective of kind of an opening. It'll be about a 14-foot opening that will be there, and there'll be some drop-down gates. This is kind of the inside. So that's now showing the inside with those new walls put up. Those pipes have been moved. That little cove there will be where a merch cooler will be, so for their yogurts, their juices, stuff like that. There's one on each side. They'll be getting new serving lines inside of here, and they'll still have the same setup, 2 serving lines. They'll be able to come in and then exit. What will be different is there won't be the milk cooler on the outside. That'll sit on the 2 corners, and the cashiers will actually be permanent. So there'll be 2 cashiers stand permanent.
You can also
So-
notice, sorry, Jaren, in that picture that the pony wall's gone on the back
Yeah, I
side of the
can see
cafeteria.
that.
Yeah. So really kind of open that up. Again, metal beams, and that's where those security gates will come down so that it provides secure access. It'll be sheetrocked all the way up when it's all completed and going through there. So really coming along. This is the outside. So that handicap ramp and new stairs that'll wrap around for the entrance to the gym. And there'll be a raised sidewalk, like our other raised sidewalk across Red Devil Drive, which will have new sidewalk that'll connect to the other parking areas. And so that'll be completed by the start of school as well. And so we'll have kind of a much wider, and it'll be a better entrance for the
It'll be
gym
like a
and the
noticeable
public.
entrance.
Yep.
Instead of,
for
how do
that.
I get in there?
So what they're pouring right now is the footings for the ramp
Okay.
at this point. Taken out some trees and made some, cut the pony wall that was over on that other side, and so that's kind of where we are. Any questions about what's been happening at the high school, Evanston Middle School?
Kind of excited to see it, yeah.
If you ever want to come up and look, give myself, Mr. Davis, or Superintendent Thomas a call. We'd be happy to
When do you
walk
expect
you
it to
through.
be done?
Carpet will be done, they
August
figure the first to second week of August. That's kind of the biggest portion. Most of the sheetrock, we're 90% done with all of that. Then it's just waiting on the cafeteria stuff to arrive. The electricians have been up and everything's prepped and ready for stuff. This,
August 9th.
August 9th. Crossing our fingers, right, John? So, moving right along, the goal, we really wanted this done before registration and kids really start coming back. We're pushing them hard
Yeah.
with that. So.
Come on, do it.
And the roof, like I said, that'll be done September-ish. We are redoing Horizon's roof, putting a spray on there, and they'll be done before school starts on that. So then other little things happening across the district, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so now you're ready, Mr. Thomas, for the high reliability school certifications?
Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, we thought we'd do this, actually, and these guys, hopefully we're okay with this. We're going to recognize our 8 schools, and then later when we talk about a strategic plan, we're going to review the HRS principles, why we did that, where we are, and what's that moving forward. What's that?
We're going to do that after.
Yeah,
Okay.
during the strategic plan. So, another reason why we did that is because our principals are really off at this time.
I'm good.
No, they're off work at this time, not off. And we invited them to come tonight to receive these certificates. So what we'll do is we'll just announce all of them, we'll bring them all up, and we'll take a picture
photo
for the
ops and all
paper.
that kind of stuff.
So, I am going to read to you a little bit. This is what the certificate looks like. It's from Marzano's High Reliability Schools Network. It has a really nice certificate and has some additional resources for those principals. Each of our schools receive them. We'll spend a little more time later talking about what this means. But why we bring the principals up, when we bring the principals up, I'd just like to ask them maybe to respond to a little bit about the effort it took to pull this off and what it means to them moving forward. Will that work? Okay. So why don't all of you come up?
And thank you for coming in the summer.
Right, yeah.
Come on up, right up here.
You can stand in front of us here. Front, face center, the audience. You don't need to face us.
So what the certificate says is this is Marzano's High Reliability Schools Level 1 certification, indicating exceptional efficiency and effectiveness regarding safe, supportive, and collaborative cultures, signed by Bob Marzano himself. So the first one I have is Aspen Elementary.
You're not getting out of it. He's got a strong arm today.
That's right.
Strong arm.
You can stand in front of us, that's okay.
Clark Elementary. Horizon. Oops. That's your gift certificate. Evanston High School. I was just kidding about this. Uinta Meadows Elementary. Guess we can just guess on that, right?
Yeah, nice.
North Elementary. Davis Middle School. And we have Evanston Middle School. One of you guys want to come represent Evanston?
There you go.
So, stand up there, kind of squeeze together.
Yeah, squeeze.
Doug, you want to come up here? Or do you want to?
I'm good. You can see my fancy socks.
Steve, go that way.
No. We're not going to photo bomb, I promise.
What's that? Yesterday.
Well, I'll go stand up here by Joe.
There you go. You might need to squish
Actually, not
it so
ready.
she can get you in one shot. Yeah, it's not like
Jill, can you squish a little bit that way?
You want to show their certificates or just the packets?
Whatever they want to do.
Just show the packets.
There you go.
Squishy over, Ryan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming. You guys are, well, before you sit down, why don't you guys swing around and talk to the board and kind of tell us what it means to you, process, anything you think the board needs to know about this. Quickly.
Yell at us. Whatever.
I think one of the biggest things that it was an opportunity is for us as a school to evaluate what we're doing, talking around safety and collaboration and school culture. So as we really looked at that, as we did surveys, as we had surveyed our parents, our students, our staff, we really looked at that and really had to look deep within ourselves and say, are we doing this, or are we not? And then, we're not doing it, what steps are we taking to do it? And then evaluate it throughout the process. So for North Elementary, it was a great opportunity to look deep within ourselves and make strides to improve, as the process is going to be throughout, is that continual improvement as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I guess, just to add to that, one of the cool things about it was, with all the safety efforts we've made as a district, it was really, made that part of it really easy to kind of put together and really showcase. So that was really impressive and kind of a fun thing to do. Also the collaboration part with our PLCs and everything we have going there, it kind of allowed us to like make sure we're actually doing it and really document the things that we were doing. So it was an exciting thing and exciting to get this.
Step one out of the way.
Yeah, we're excited to get step one out of the way. At the high school, we feel this work has really been what we needed to move forward. Our collaboration has not been super good, but the past couple of years, we feel this is the work that's guided us to that. Step two, level two, we've got a little bit of work to do, so that's our next challenge, and we're hitting it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
So this summer, I read How Schools Work. It's written by Arnie Duncan, who was the Secretary of Education for 8 years under Obama. And it's him then reflecting back, and would encourage you to read that book. It's a short, simple read, but I can tell you, having spent a week reading that book, what we're doing with high reliability schools and the process of step 1 to step 5, we are making good steps forward, and we are on the right track. So, exciting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Just to add on to what everybody else has said, one thing that was really important to us at Clark, and I'm sure across all the buildings, was that this wasn't just like a checklist, like we're going to check off each thing and then we're going to go back to what we've been doing. It was really important for my staff and myself that it was actually, it actually became our work and the work that we were doing every day. And I think that because of that, when we had the webinar review with Tammy Heffelbauer, it was really natural, and it wasn't like a dog and pony show. It was truly, this is the work, and my staff, I'm really proud of them because they approached it as, this is our work and this is what we've done, and if it's not where we should be, then that's great. We'll take the feedback and make it what we need to be doing. So, and it turned out that we were doing all of the right work, and we'll continue that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I don't know if I have a whole lot to add, but I think I appreciate the opportunity to be able to focus on safety, and then at the high school level, develop our PLCs. Our new schedule with EHS this year should really knock that out of the park. I mean, it was something that we struggled with as a small school, but we did a good job with it. Excited about that. I'm really excited about just the work in general, the HRS framework. I get a chance this fall to serve on an accreditation committee for Guernsey. I've been doing the state accreditation for a while, and I can tell you that I think we're the only district, I know we're the only alternative school in the state that has HRS Level 1 certification. I think we're the only district that has the certification, and that goes a million miles with the state and accreditation. I think when ours is up in a couple of years, this is a cakewalk. This is above and beyond what the state requires, and the state already recognizes the work that we're doing with that. I have a meeting set up with all the alternative schools September 10th, and they're interested in some of the stuff that we're doing here in Evanston too. So I'm really proud to be part of the district, a school in the district that's going after this, and appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you.
I guess two quick things. The work, all the time and energy, the resources that we spent with professional learning communities, there's not a way to really run a checks and balances as to how well you're doing with PLCs, but this Marzano High Reliability Schools is a great way. It fits hand in hand, and I remember when it was rolled out a year or two ago, that was probably the biggest concern or question I had. Not that I didn't think it was, but okay, we're spending a lot of time here with professional learning communities. Does Marzano and High Reliability Schools fit with what we're doing? And it truly does, and I think that's the neat part of all this. And so contracting out, as we have been and will continue to do with professional learning, those who can support us in the professional learning community work, along with those with Marzano's. Again, the level 2 and level 3 certification that we'll push for in the next few years goes hand in hand with the work that we're doing with PLCs, and I think that's been that's what's made it all fit, I guess. So it makes sense, I guess, is when we're looking forward to getting our accreditation done and having those folks come and evaluate us, it matters. And I can say I've been through accreditations before where it didn't matter. It truly felt like a checklist. Now, well, I'm going to do that because you've asked me to do it, but it really doesn't pertain to the work that we've been pushing towards at my school or in our district. And this truly does. So it does make a difference. I think it does matter for kids. So thank you.
I know we've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that we as a board and the district has thrown a lot at you guys and a lot at your staff in the last 2 years. There have been a lot of changes, and I know that for some staff, they went into this kicking and screaming. I get it. Some embraced it better than others, but it worked, and you guys did it, and your leadership did it, and I couldn't be more happy about the fact that every school got to this level 1, and now we get to go to level 2. And when I saw that you guys thought maybe they could, or the teachers thought they could get to level 2 in a year, I thought, wow, that's pretty good. So, well, I thank you again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your support.
What we'd like to do now is just a very quick kind of review of what High Reliability Schools is and kind of what our next steps are, really quick.
All right, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board, thanks for the opportunity. Let's talk to you a little bit about High Reliability Schools. These guys talked about what it means to be a high reliability school. We're going to give you a little bit of background of why. Oh, goodness.
Maybe, maybe not. Jaron?
I don't know why it's not. There we go. All right. So first of all, how did we get into the whole High Reliability Schools framework to begin with? When Ryan became the superintendent and hired Dr. Ingalls and myself, we did a lot of soul searching. We did a lot of introspection into the district. And what we really came up with after gathering feedback from parents and teachers and stakeholders was two things, really. One, a shift in the locus of control. Okay? And hopefully you heard that as the principals were talking about this. Although High Reliability Schools was initiated, I guess, at the district level, it's really about what takes place in the schools. We don't tell the schools, you need to work on 1.4.
Right.
The schools determine that. They gather that information. They have committees. They're responsible for their improvement efforts around those criteria. So that's where you really see the shift in the locus of control in terms of these are the things that we need to work on. And then the external audit. We wanted to have a framework for our improvement efforts. Promise, I'm not on drugs today. But it needs to be beyond any particular individual or any one group. It's not a central office thing. It's beyond that. And so when we think about that framework for school improvement, all that the High Reliability Schools framework is all of John Hattie's work in terms of what works for schools put into a hierarchy, levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so we have that framework, and the schools really dig into that. And then ultimately, I also saw the excitement, that external, that nationally recognized certificate. It means a lot. I know these guys also recognize that their staffs played a huge role in that. We couldn't obviously bring all the staffs in over the summer, but anyway, it's really important. So, high reliability organizations, which is the framework for this, basically it's folks that can't afford to make mistakes. Some examples, NASA, right? Can't afford to make mistakes. Hospitals, as well as nuclear power plants. We all depend on them being high reliability organizations. High reliability organizations and their frameworks have been around for a long time. Dr. Marzano just took those ideas and turned them into a school. So, you want to?
Sure. So as you think about the characteristics of those high reliability organizations, one is their level of operations, the foundation of excellence. I had the privilege, well maybe not the privilege, but I had a sister-in-law at the University of Utah Hospital who had a major surgery about 3 days ago. And to watch what they did and to really look at what she went through, and I walked out every day thanking each one of them, and I looked at and compared that to what we're doing, and knowing that what are the leading indicators, what is it that makes them highly reliable, and what evidence are we willing to accept for that. The evidence that I saw there was incredible. The evidence that I've seen with the schools as we walk into those schools is amazing. The parents, even though initially it took a little bit, but they're feeling right now very safe. Even at Summer Academy, as parents are coming in, they're willing to say, it's okay that we have to check into the office, it's okay that we have to be buzzed in, and that has carried over. So instead of it just being all hands off, that high reliability structure, because the teachers throughout the district are there providing that, and the students are used to that, and the parents are as well. That tells you something about the work that's being done across the district and how important that is. Finally, we're utilizing data, what we call quick data, that is continuing. So it's not just, okay, we've got level 1. We'll continue to survey and ask, how are we doing? And what evidence are we willing to accept to say we're continuing to be safe, we're continuing to be collaborative, and we're continuing to meet those demands. But we used to do advanced ed. Advanced ed was good. It had standards and all of that, but we all knew that it was a every 5th year process. You tried to apply some of those things, but really it was gear up, get everybody together for a year, bring in all the evidence and the information, and then they come in and they look at what you're doing. Not a bad process. This is just more job embedded. And really...
It's more of a cultural shift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's done by the teachers, it's done by the school leadership, and our compliments to them.
So I put this in there because it goes back to that whole, when we did the introspection, there was not a lot of trust in the district. And so the whole idea behind high reliability schools is reliability is the foundation for trust. It's where it begins. And so that's why it's also important to have that external audit. Okay? And so anyway, I thought that was an appropriate quote for that.
So you look at, as we just talked about, the safe, supportive, and collaborative schools is that level 1 piece. We talked about some of the locus of control and some of that already. What does that really mean? Is the school perceived as safe? And what data do we have to support that? When we look at the parents and we talk to them and surveyed them, when we look at students and ask them, how do they feel? The teachers themselves, the support staff, stakeholders, do they feel like their schools are safe places? And I can tell you that yes, they do. Do teachers collaborate to address curriculum, instruction, and assessment? More than probably they ever have. I can tell you again, this year, and I know Doug is doing some work in August, we did some work in June and brought 40 to 45 teachers and principals together, continuing to do the work around curriculum, continuing to relook at how do we do with math, and then add to that, as well as building together what that pacing guide will look like and calendaring that for the ELA as well as the math. So that work, where's that work coming from? Who it should be coming from, the teachers. Granted, there's a guidance and that occurs from the district and the building level leadership, but they're taking on the work. And they're doing it in what I would consider to be a very successful way.
one way to tell that is, we got another email, and we continue to get emails, but it was somebody from, I believe, Kansas, who had been at the High Reliability Schools Conference. She contacted us and wanted access to our information because Jan Haig at the High Reliability Schools Conference continually brought up Uintah County as example of what is going well, what's happening, and the things that those schools can look to in leadership. You know, we've been at this a year and a half, almost 2 years, and already are being recognized at that level. That says a lot about the work that the principals are doing, the work that the teachers are doing, and the support that hopefully we're able to provide.
You have to pay $5.
Coin and slide. Time's up.
The last piece, our appreciation and support taking place, absolutely. That's one thing that we have to do, and I know the principals will do that in the fall, and we'll talk about that as the teachers come back. We need to celebrate this and really celebrate it in a big way, whether it's bringing a big cake or whatever that happens to be. It needs to be celebrated, and they need to know, hey, look at the great work that you're doing and continuing to do.
Okay. Level 2, you heard some of the principals talk about level 2 is our target for next year. And so really level 2 is effective teaching in every classroom. And so the questions that you ask when you look at this particular area would be, how is effective teaching defined? And so right now that's through our 5 dimensions of evaluation. How effective is the teaching being done in the school? What is being done to improve teaching in the school? So that's that whole observation and feedback piece. But level 2 asks you to go a little bit deeper. Now, I can't remember what the actual House bill or Senate file was, but 2 or 3 years ago, the state legislature passed a law that said we're going to have one teacher evaluation system. The state had 3 years. Yep, it's going to be the same for everybody. We're going to do that in 3 years. Well, when they got into it, right, didn't quite work out that way. And so this year, they actually dumped that legislation and said by 2021, each school district will offer up what they want for their evaluation system to be
For
approved.
administration and teachers.
Right. Administration was this year. We had to get that one approved for this year. Teachers, we have 2 years. And so what does that mean for us? Well, for us, what we're hoping to do is to get, like we do with our curriculum work, get a group of our teachers together, meet with them, look at some of the different evaluation tools out there. There's the Danielson model, there's McCrell, there's Marzano, there's the 5D. There's several out there. And have folks come in and look at those and maybe figure out kind of what direction we want to go this coming year, the 1920 school year, the 2021 school year, possibly pilot an evaluation system, see what the pros and the cons are. If we narrow it down to 2, maybe we look at 1 in the first semester, 1 in the second semester. We'll figure that out, okay? But really, we want to have the teachers play a large role in choosing what that evaluation system will look like. But that's where we're headed. In addition to the criteria in the High Reliability Schools Level 2 framework, there's also this change up,
But it
which
plays into it, though.
timing-wise, it actually works out really, really well.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, I know we talked about using the Marzano model for the administration, and I still like the idea, so.
Correct. We're good.
Yeah.
We got that approved for
We got that.
building level
We're good.
administrators.
We're
Not
good.
for me yet.
Not for you yet, but we'll get
Yeah.
there.
Next year.
Yep.
Next time.
Okay?
The other is level 3, the guaranteed and viable curriculum. It's not that these things are done in isolation and in a silo, and then the next year you start. They're all being done throughout the process, but the focus then changes and becomes part of that. We are on a continuous rotation with our curriculum. As you know, 3 years ago, we did social studies, we hit that. Implemented that. We did the math, we are building on that. ELA this year, we'll begin the prioritization process, and we'll begin doing that work, as well as then the unit planning process that we did with math, utilizing the CKLA resource as really our structure, or really our framework around some of that work that we're doing. So we'll continue to move forward with that. So some of those questions, can we generate that children will master the same essential curriculum? no matter which school, no matter which teacher that they get.
That's what we've been doing the last 2 years.
Exactly, and that's where we're headed. So we're going to be in a really good place as we move to that level 3 and have a lot of that in place before we hit that year 3 mark. Can we teach the identified essential content to mastery for all kids? What we've built in as well is our intervention times throughout the day for reading and mathematics. For those kids who just need a little bit more and a little bit more focused, skill by skill, student by student support, and that's the direction that we're headed. Our students learning the content and what is being done to help kids who aren't learning it. So those who are getting it, what are we going to do for them? Because for a lot of time it's just, you have it, so take a breath, everything's going to be okay. Instead, it's how do we push those kids? How do we really challenge those kids as well as meet the needs of this other group? That's really that intervention piece and trying to meet those needs with our common assessments, determine where kids are at with that data and information, and then moving that work forward to really inform the process and inform our teachers as they begin to build that.
And to connect what Mr. Dastrup said about the connection between the PLC work and the high reliability schools, this slide is the absolute direct correlation. And so the key questions up there, those are the 4 critical questions that collaborative teams, whether they're grade level teams or content area teams, this is what they're talking about each day when they meet together. What do we want all kids to learn? Okay? How will we know if they've learned it? What will we do if they've got it? What will we do if they didn't get it? That's really the work. That's the heart and soul of the time when they get together and collaborate. So the levels 1 through 3, we talked about, in the very beginning, we talked about high reliability schools takes from the foundational to the exceptional. And so levels 1 through 3, you're working on all the time. You can't not work on curriculum. You can't not work on safety. So those 3 things, or effective instruction.
And the collaboration. Yeah.
Right. Those things all tie together. Those are all foundational. It's the business of all schools all of the time. That's the work that we do. And so level 4 is standards reference reporting. It's beyond our district goals at this time, but what I can tell you is it's going to be the natural byproduct of the work that we're doing already. Okay? Because when we are tracking, when we're answering questions 3 and 4, which are the kids that are getting it, which are the kids that are not, we have to have that standards reference reporting. Okay, and so it's a natural byproduct. You'll see, can we describe what any student is doing at any given time by skill, by student? Okay, the second one, how is student growth and achievement being tracked and communicated to parents? How do we take that beyond just that whole status grade of an A, B, C, or D? You got a C. What does that mean? Okay, well, typically in the last 100 years, it's meant that you're average. Okay, basically. But what goes into that C? What can a student actually do and not do that C represents? And that's where standards reference reporting. It puts meat on that bone. Okay? And it gives us the ability to show the learning process. I think we would all agree that we don't all learn at the same pace, nor do we want to be weighed. Do we want to be weighted the same at the beginning of a unit when we're just learning the material as we do at the end? Is it fair to have that grade weighted the same when we're just being introduced compared to when we've had an opportunity to learn the material? So those are all questions that get asked and answered through this level 4 process. Okay, and then just finally, again, going back to there's 5 levels. I'm not even going to go into competency-based because I think it muddies the water. Okay? Competency-based basically is when you're ready to move on, you're ready to move on. So it basically gets rid of grade levels, right, in the nirvana part of that. And quite honestly,
I had that when I was in elementary, and I liked it.
It's kind of that vertical.
It's
go
really
at your
cool.
own pace kind of thing. It's called USAIL.
Yeah. So
Mastery
anyway.
learning.
Yeah. So, but tying it back to those 2 things, locus of control. Locus of control is with the schools and those that work within them. And then the external audit, there's a 5-level framework that we're all working from. We're all playing from the same script. And again, we've had really good feedback this year, probably more so than last year from teachers around the trainings that we're providing and the opportunities that teachers are having to collaborate and work together and get continued training either from us or from external providers. It's been a very positive thing. And it all leads into this.
Which leads into a nice invitation for each one of you in October, and we'll get that information out to you. There's a PLC conference in Salt Lake. It's a big event, and it would be great if you had the opportunity to go and at least take part in at least one of those days. Usually it's a 2-day event, and so we'll get that out to you and give you that opportunity to come and participate and
Yes.
load up the bands and drive down together and just enjoy the time. So that's coming forth in October, and we'll get those dates out to you.
We had a whole school bus going to Las Vegas, to the airport and going to Las Vegas.
I was going to say, I knew that a bunch went to Vegas in June.
Sorry, it's only Salt Lake for you, but, we could.
Salt Lake is good. It's easy to get to, and I'll take it.
All right, any questions you guys have about high
No,
reliability schools?
just thank you, guys. Again, this is exactly, I know what I wanted when I ran to be on the board, so we're getting there.
Thank you, and we'd like to just publicly thank our school leadership as well as our teachers, you, our stakeholders for the support that you've given. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Okay, next is discussion items. We have first our staff satisfaction survey. Hopefully they're good results and not hideous.
After that.
After that, I know, right? I know that we've been on an uptick of late, which makes me happy, so.
If you recall, I've shared these results with you, but we did it during my evaluation and made a point that we would bring it back so the staff and the community could see what we're doing. This was done in June, just recently, 2019. If you recall, last year we gave the same survey to the same group of individuals, and it gives us at least an opportunity to compare. So that's what I've done on this sheet. What we did different this time is we actually asked the staff what is not working and then what is working, and they listed a ton of things, and they're all good. Some would say, well, isn't that a chance to be negative? Well, no. We want to know what's working and what do we need to improve on. And I was very, very pleased. You've seen those results. There's a lot of them. My plan is to use those as we continue to develop our board and district strategic plan, as I work with the administrators on what we can do to improve our school district.
We'll talk about some of those at the retreat. I think.
Most definitely, yes. So first, how I broke this up is, if you remember, staff satisfaction with the board, staff satisfaction with the superintendent, and staff satisfaction with district leadership. We didn't really define what district leadership, but what you're talking about is really our directors. And it's just starting. You can see in terms of positions, basically 63.6% were certified staff, 28% are our support staff. Primary work assignment, the largest group, of course, are our elementary teachers. Middle school group is the same. We did have more secondary, high school individuals respond this year, and those with district assignments. So we did allow every employee to respond to this survey. The first group is the board's staff satisfaction with the board. You'd think that wouldn't be a tongue twister after high reliability schools. You can see that in terms of satisfied or somewhat satisfied is 81.1%. The arrow off to the side shows you that's down from last year, but it's only down by less than 1%. So that's probably one individual that changed their mind in 2 years.
It's still higher than Congress's approval rating.
Exactly. And the 18.9% is exactly as it was last year. That's why it's interesting. The work completed by the school board during the 18-19 school year, 81.6% are satisfied. That is up from last year. So kind of an interesting look is goals and objectives, kind of boring stuff, but the work you actually completed, they're very satisfied with that. And then finally, board's response to the wants and needs of the students, staff, parents, and the community. And I really think this is an indicator really of what the board is about, how you respond to the community. 77.7%, and that is actually up from last year. I didn't put that little arrow, but it's up from last year in terms of satisfied. The superintendent, focus of the superintendent on district goals, 88.1, that is down from last year. but last year it was 2% higher. But what's interesting is those dissatisfied, that reduced. So you got a negative on one and a positive on the other. So it's those in the middle that probably changed. Still, as a superintendent, with the direction setting of the district, 88% satisfied, that's pretty good. The work completed by the superintendent, you can see 91.8, that's up from last year. Again, probably unheard of in districts to be satisfied with the work done by the superintendent. Those dissatisfied are down. Superintendent's response to the wants and needs of students, staff, parents, and community is 83.7, is down a little bit. And again, the negative is down a little bit. This is where I can turn to those comments and see what I can do as a leader to improve what I do. And the feedback that was given by the board during my evaluation will also be included in my goals as I move forward. Focus of the district on goals and objectives, you can see that they definitely like the district employees as compared to the superintendent and the board, which I guess is okay. They get to be a little more hands-on than we get, but 92.9%. The next one is 94.1%. That is just really pretty impressive that our staff is supportive of what we're doing. District's response to the wants and needs of the students and staff, 85.4% up, and again, very positive. So in terms of a staff satisfaction survey, I can't imagine better results. And if you recall, I said the same thing last year, and these results are better than last year, so we'll just keep at it. Sometimes the jobs administrators do are frowned upon because they're hard, but I think it shows that we do care for our people and we do the best we can with them.
And the overall climate was up.
Yes. Any questions, comments on that?
Do we have copies of the comments somewhere?
Yes, I think I gave them to you. Oh, yeah, I forgot the last one.
Right after the June meeting, I think you sent.
Oh, in an email?
Yeah, you should have.
It's like a Google Doc. It's got a bunch of.
I shared it with you.
Awesome.
So if you don't, just let me know.
I'll find them, sure.
So again, the overall climate was 84.9% is up. And that's it.
Terrific. Thank you. And, you know, again, we've sort of been hard on the administrator sometimes, but thank you, Ryan, for leading the charge.
You betcha.
Let's talk about the strategic plan report.
Okay, and this is going to be quick. Really what this is kind of a post-review of our goals last year as we start into the process of preparing goals for next year. We'll start at the retreat, and then usually by the 1st of September, the board approves their goals. Probably, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we've used the same document except down to the goals for probably the last, 3 years for sure. I do want to point out board goals. School board that focuses on Pathway to Excellence, which is the strategic plan. Support standard and assessment work K-12 with the goal of providing guaranteed and viable curriculum. Your goals are in line with high reliability schools work. Matter of fact, they're included in the strategic plan. And we did that intentionally so you become knowledgeable of them and focused on that. One of the things Doug did not say is the school districts that are taken off with the high reliability schools work, their board has been trained right along with the staff. And so you know what's coming, you know what's the questions, you know what's next. So I really encourage you, if you can schedule that October, that you receive some of that direct training from those individuals.
I look at our goals and say, hey, we actually met every one of those this year. I'm happy.
Well, and for the first time ever, if you get down to the bottom one, all schools certified as a high reliability school, I don't recall ever, in all the years I've been working with this, a board goal was actually accomplished. And well, we just saw proof of that.
I think
we always make movement, we always do good things, but that would have been an easy one to judge. We either did or we didn't, and we did it. And so as a board, I think you need to be commended for the work of those 8 schools. You put it out there that this was your commitment, and they met it. So like I said, it's an opportunity for us to definitely express appreciation to our teachers. Again, our emphasis on safety and security, I don't think anyone doubts the amount of work that was done before school started last year, and as we continue the emphasis on school safety and security. As we get to know our own policies and procedures and the tools that we have, we'll get better. We rolled a lot out really fast last year, but our teachers, and I think our parents, are getting the hang of it. We'll still keep, and again, not telling you what the goal should be, but safety and security has to be a number one priority. It is for me.
They were talking about, it is a foundational thing, I
Yes.
think, for all of us, so.
And the communication plan, that was one of the things that you discussed a lot in my evaluation, and it is my commitment to continue to improve our communication plan. It will always be a work in progress. I don't know, I guess we could say we continued the implementation, but to reach that goal.
Well, we've done a lot of things to help with that.
Yes.
We will continue to work on that.
Yes.
We want to be as open and transparent as possible. I mean, putting our meetings online, live, making them available, getting more information out on the websites for people to search on their own rather than ask for a document request. I mean, all of those things we are continuing to work on, and so that was not something that was ignored, and I think we have improved it. Can we always improve? Absolutely.
I did meet the goal of having a Twitter following.
You
all,
did.
All 8 of the individuals
Brian had
followed.
a podcast and Twitter. Come on,
So,
we've done great.
Actually, it's amazing how many comments on the staff satisfaction survey appreciated the insurance podcast I did. So we'll find other ways to use them. That doesn't come easy to me, but anyway, so we'll keep working on that communication plan.
We'll hire a makeup artist for you.
Appreciate that. It's the voice coach that I need.
Yeah. I guess, just as a segue, the reason I say that is because back in the day during the Olympics in 2002, we had a lot of meetings with Mitt Romney, and Mitt never came to a meeting without his makeup on, just in case there was a camera there. So.
I'll have to try that. Not. The district goals, really, we basically reviewed in the HRS stuff. You can see that they align, especially the top 2 for achievement and instruction. The one that is a little different is the attendance. And attendance, I do have a final result sheet.
I was going to say, that was one of the district goals.
Yes. And again, this is truly a personal bias of mine, and I kind of push this one as a district goal, is attendance is a key. It always will be. If you can't get the kids to school, it doesn't matter. And attendance patterns start developing very, very young. And so I'm talking about positive attendance patterns, but also negative attendance patterns. If you look at the latest research, it's by the end of 1st grade. And so we're tracking it. Let's shift. Do you guys want to see the result?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you
throw it
can.
up here quick.
You have to hold one cord in your mouth and one foot in the air.
It's like the old rabbit ears, right?
It's like,
With foil and the stand on your head thing.
Did anything come on? Oh, it's got red light. Must be on.
I was going to say, I see red lights.
It's flashing.
Well, you might just have to tell us, Ryan.
We now have 3 years of data, which is good. I mean, that's the whole point of the emphasis on attendance. Attendance is a tough one to set as a goal, because you can do everything one year and do the same things next year, and the attendance pattern's different. A lot of that is because of the personal nature of attendance and issues that families have.
There you go.
Okay. I'll have to do it upside. Okay. So you can see the 3 years worth of data. 18-19 is this year. You can't really see, but that's 17-18 and 16-17. Overall, I guess I'm going to interpret, I'm not going through every one. If you look at what chronic attendance pattern is, severely chronic, some, and regular attendance, we work on this really every day in school. We are funded by attendance, so average daily membership. That's not why we do it, but attendance drives, I think, academic success. It gets, I think, a little more challenging when you get to the high school. Because of the long periods, you miss one day, you miss a lot of school.
Yeah.
And the amount kind of drives that. In terms of Aspen, you can see that there are no severe chronic. You can see the changes as we've put efforts into place, we have more chronic. That's why I'm talking about attendance is hard to look at and hard to, you have some outliers with some of those things. You have individuals, some years you'll have a flu epidemic and it will impact your attendance. We can do everything we can, but we can't stop the flu in our community. I think the main part about this goal is we are working on attendance. If you've seen in our community, we have actually signs and billboards trying to educate our parents that attendance does matter as early as first grade. And what's a regular attendance pattern? Really, it's anything less than 9 absences. A student can absorb that. We've seen that through the research. So we're trying to train parents on what that means. And if you do have a family activity, well, plan ahead and let us get some things done. But I think in terms of a district goal, I hope we continue that as our focus, is attendance and also behavior, which is the next one. Any questions about this?
Is it 9 per year, or 9 absences?
Per semester.
It's 9 per semester at the high school.
You can absorb that.
Yeah. And it's 9 per year overall for the other schools. So it's almost like when you have a semester class that it starts over. So. Any questions? Okay, shift back. Oops.
How much does chronic weather, George? How much does chronic weather have to do with attendance? The bus, kids ride the bus, that they have a big snowstorm, do they choose to stay home?
You know, actually, we see more people not riding the bus when the weather gets like it is now.
I was gonna say, it's the warm weather that makes them want to skip, not the cold.
I haven't noticed.
Well, I just think parents sometimes keep kids home because it's
I think it's kind of
Being an out-of-towner, I put them on the bus more when the weather's bad, because I don't want to drive them down. And I don't want them stuck in the house.
You don't want them stuck in the house with you, exactly.
And it is a very low percentage, because they call me, that won't send their kids to school on days where they think the school should be closed. It is a small percentage. And again, this year, I don't know what happened, but the city's plowing their streets was much better than ever before. Their timing was much better. The plowing's always been good, but the timing, I could count that at certain times, the access to our schools would be clear, and of course, our maintenance crews have always been great with our snow removal. So we did purchase a couple new pieces of equipment that helped. We used them to clear off the EMS football field. So again, great people, but we have good equipment too. So you can see the instruction links right to high reliability schools, the attendance I talked about, behavior. It's another one of those indicators. Schools get into the game of, I guess, social skills and social development. I don't know how we cannot. Expectations of behavior, we have to set them and hold students accountable. And again, that's one of my commitments, and I believe it's a commitment of the principals. Principals would rather have a school that had no discipline problems, and they could focus on instruction, but that's not reality. And Scott's here, he could probably tell us, I believe the incidence of referrals are up at the high school. And
well, we've talked about that, though, as part of our safety plan as well. You know, one of the things I really took from a lot of the public comment when we were going through the CKA was, you know, the bullying and the behavior and addressing that component as well as just, you know, CKA. And so I know we're going to talk about this at the retreat, but that's one of the commitments that I think we as a board had made, is we want to address that and make sure that every school has a similar program, that, you know, that citizenship question is being addressed in every single school, kind of thing. So, and I think it is important as part of the safety plan.
Some of the social ills that I think all communities face, they are reflected back in schools. We've talked about vaping. We've talked about sexting. It's something that bounces in schools, and somehow schools are held accountable and responsible for all that. I think our responsibility goes into educating our students and our parents about the woes of those issues. Again, it takes away from instructional time, but behavior is an essential component of quality instruction. Always will be. I guess if we were private schools and individuals paid $50,000 to attend, and we can say, okay, 3 strikes and you're out, we'll just keep your money. Behavior might improve a little bit, but we take all comers, and we always will. So any questions about those district goals? I think we did a very good job paying attention to all those again. What you don't see is how much time we spent talking about attendance and behavior. We made some changes. We have a new, it's not student management system, but it'll help us track data better. The Swiss, I don't know what you call it, Swiss software program. All the administrators will be trained the 1st of August.
So they can put incident reports kind of in there,
Yeah.
and you can track that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do need to, it's time consuming, but I do think we need to do a little better job tracking in classroom issues. Sometimes those get skipped over. Providing some additional support for teachers in terms of behavior management, classroom management. I think everyone assumes that teachers are well trained on that, and you guys know, some teachers are masters
No, they're
and
not.
some are not. So again, we pay attention to that too.
But I think that as we throw these changes at them, especially, as we've implemented new curriculum and new PLCs and new, high reliability schools and all this kind of stuff, one of the questions was, and especially like late start Mondays, is it going to affect behavior? Well, now we have a way to track that.
Yes.
So that will help.
Yes. The other parts of this are the critical commitments. I think as we moved into the HRS stuff, we wanted to keep as much of the old, that was good stuff, that I think we're proud of, and that's why we put these in the critical commitments. I'm sure these will change with time as we focus on different things. This whole plan needs to be put together with a great deal of input from our building principals, from the board, from central administration. That's why I'm showing this as a past thing, moving forward with the others. A critical commitment to me is a strong administrative team, which I believe we have. What's nice is I'll call it longevity, but longevity provides, I guess, I don't want to say comfort, but I think it increases trust. All of us can get better every day, and that's a commitment, but we have a commitment to a strong administrative team. Expectation is students provide effort, staff provide effort. I think the board I haven't seen a change, but you're still committed to a balanced budget, adequate reserve, and competitive salaries and benefits. I'll talk to you a lot about competitive salaries and benefits. It is getting hard. Utah is right nipping at our heels, if they haven't bitten us yet. And then the rest you can see. Non-negotiables, I believe we try to treat everyone with dignity and respect. We work in collaborative teams. We are professionals working in professional organizations. Student learning is our focus and priority. The rest is the HRS framework. Again, more for your knowledge. And anyone who gets on our website and looks at our strategic plan, this is really our focus. We're starting, I think, our full second year with HRS. We made a commitment. I made a commitment. I think it's 3 to 5 years to stay with HRS. You can see.
For the continuity, absolutely.
Yes, level 5 is way out there. But as we move forward with 1, 2, and 3 and work on 4, level 5 I think is a natural shift. It's a shift. It's not what our parents are used to, our students are used to, and our teachers are used to, but it is a goal. It sits way out there, 3 to 5 years. Okay? That's our strategic plan. Again, we'll work on this at the retreat and probably at the August meeting and have one for you to approve probably in September.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I keep thinking I have a touch screen and I don't. All right, I think we are on to public comments now. Do we have anybody in the public that wants to chat with us? Anyone, Bueller? Going once, twice, gone? Okay, action items.
Are you guys okay if I just throw them up here too?
Yeah.
Throw them out there. Madam Chair, members of the board, we have one contract to accept. This is John, I think it's Fager. And he is, I believe is he math?
Yes.
Yes.
So new math teacher.
Yes.
Terrific. Okay.
Our recommendation is you approve that contract.
Terrific. Do we have a motion to approve Mr. Fager's contract?
So moved.
Motion by Kay. Jenny, you want a second?
Sure.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we recommend that you approve the operating agreement between Uintah County School District and the Evanston Parks and Rec Department as presented by Marilee last month. Again, I think we have a great partnership. There's always some bumps in the road with any partnership, but they benefit from us and we benefit from them, and we work well together.
No question. That's a mutually beneficial agreement. All right, do we have a motion to approve the annual operating agreement with Evanston Parks and Rec District?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the annual operating agreement budget with Evanston Parks and Recreation Department.
Okay, and I'm going to take Cassie's as a second.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I'm just loud.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, we are approved. And we are going to appoint Jenny and Cody Bateman to the board next, right? This is Parks and Rec Board, and bless you for doing it. So I need a motion to approve them.
Madam, approve Jenny and
Cody Bateman.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Other than say thank you again? No. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we do have a student discipline that we need to approve as discussed in executive session. Do I have a motion to approve the student discipline as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second that motion.
Second by Dave. Can't really discuss it, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Looks like we've got some excess special ed equipment.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Williams could not be with us tonight, but I think we had a brief discussion about this last month. There are no changes. This is excess equipment that has really no value or worth. And if it does, we'll do what we can with it. But
All right, do we have a motion to approve the list of excess equipment?
I move that we approve the excess of special education equipment.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Master agreement for independent contractor training. So this is,
what was discussed in executive session?
right, what was discussed in executive session. All those in, yes, I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve of the master agreement for independent contractor training.
Second. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we are on to the band instruments. We've talked about this as well. I know it's a one-time sort of wad of
Yeah, it's
money.
been a long time since we've updated the band equipment, and so I have option 1 and option 2. Did both of those make it on there? Yep. So there's option 1 and option 2. Option 1. So we did put this out to bids nationally, and so then the process was sitting down with the band teachers and going through instrument by instrument, which company had the best price for the best instrument, and then we put those together, and Summer Hayes was the provider that we recommend that we go with for the instruments. There's 2 options there. One of them has 2 digital pianos, and the other has 1 digital piano.
And that's the $2,000 difference.
Yep, it's a $2,000 difference. Do you want to talk about that at all?
As far as the digital piano or the bid itself?
Both.
So,
Yeah, so how about the process, or?
just first of all, big thank you to you guys and to administration, and really I wanted to say thank you to Alan Dancer as well, and because he got the ball rolling. You know, I know money was tighter, and he still kept pushing me, and so he really deserves a lot of credit. Yeah, he said he would like to come and see everything when it comes in. I said, you absolutely can, and then we'll load it in the back of my truck and drive it on over to EMS. So he didn't like that idea either. So I suggested the price because we originally Alan had requested a upright piano for for his room. The digital piano is a better way to go, especially for a middle school building, because it does not have to be tuned. And so at the price that Sunrise came in at a bid, I recommended one for EMS as well, because we could get 2 for less than I think they had bid the original upright piano for.
It's actually a really good price for a digital piano.
It is, yeah, and it's at a middle school especially, it's nice with jazz bands, you can amplify a digital piano if you've got a student that plays a little quieter. Again, the tuning is great, the moving is easy, all of those things that go along with it. So, but yeah, it was a fun day to sit down.
Okay.
And so that represents instruments for Evanston High School, Davis Middle School, and Evanston Middle School.
Yep.
Awesome. So does anybody have any other questions for the presenters?
Where's that, where are we paying it out of?
That is coming out of curriculum.
Curriculum?
Yep.
Okay, and do you guys have a recommendation on which one to do?
I recommend option 2, because I think that for that price, I think we can take care of, the rehearsal pianos are a key portion of not just band, but particularly the jazz band. And so I think it's, as Kevin indicated, we can get 2 pianos for what the original typical rehearsal traditional piano would cost.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve either option 1 or option 2, whatever the motion maker wants, I guess?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve option 2 for the replacement of band equipment.
I'll second that. Okay, second by Tammy. Any further discussion? Anybody want to argue vehemently for option 1? All right, terrific. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There you go, option 2 approved.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the second one is the sewing machine. So we talked to you about this earlier as well. These were things that were brought up in April with the idea that if possible, we would purchase those out of end of year funds. In terms of getting bids back from all of the different folks on both the sewing machine side and the instrument side, we decided not to rush and make sure we got the quality bids that we needed. And so Dr. Ingalls spent all the money on K-5 curriculum stuff at the end of the year. So this will all come out of curriculum for this year. But anyway, it's over $10,000. This will set up the sewing machine teaching station at Davis Middle School. And Mandy Lonsway has already started with this company, Nuttall, which is the recommendation that we have. We did receive 3 bids for these machines. Bernina seemed to be the best quality machine. I don't know anything about sewing machines, but those that do have recommended this as well. I've had a lot of communication with Mandy. This is what she would like. But anyway, she has actually already gone down and taken 1 class from this group. There's 3 or 4 classes that she'll be taking over the summer to get familiar with the machines and all of that stuff. So she has jumped in. She is super excited about it. And anyway, so the recommendation is that we buy the sewing machines at Davis Middle School.
My question is, you really should have these maintained at least once a year, and who's going to be doing that, and is that built into just an annual budget?
There's not a line item for that,
Okay.
but it will be part of either annually or
To make sure they're oiled and cleaned and
They
everything.
talk about annually or semi-annually with the machines. And we've talked about it for sure. They can either send somebody, a repair person up here, or we can take the machines
But a maintenance
down
contract
there.
is not part of what this is?
A maintenance contract is not part of this.
Okay.
Do we already have stuff at like the high school, already have the sewing machines at the high school and EMS? Or
We
is that?
do. At EMS, they have a different one. Trying to think of it. It was one of the other machines. I can't remember what it is.
They have a quilter at EMS, I thought, don't they?
I don't know if they do. They have the serger.
They have the
right?
serger.
Yeah.
And then the sewing machines will be going into both schools.
These sewing machines that we're purchasing that are proposed
They're
tonight
just EMS?
are just for Davis Middle School.
Oh, okay.
EMS already has a sewing lab.
Yeah, yep.
EMS already has theirs, okay.
Yeah. And EHS does. Their recent equipment was the embroidery machine.
That's what I was
From the
thinking, it was
school.
the embroidery
Yeah.
machine,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the purchase of sewing machines for DMS?
So moved.
Jenny was first. Caleb, you get to be a second. All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, seeing none, it carries. And last but not least, we have a Marzano contract.
Right. So the Marzano contract, so one of the commitments that we made a couple of years ago, when we first came on board in these positions, was that our Title II funds would be spent by and large on our staff. And that's been our commitment, and that's what we've continued to do. This contract represents that as well. This is for Jan Haig. So the work that she did last year, she worked with several different departments. This is a continuation of that. What this looks like is teachers will have substitutes. So let's say, for example, social studies. We would pair social studies as a department, 612 of 12 individuals, and we would pick, so that's a fairly high number, try to keep it around 20 because of the amount of substitutes that we have in the district. So we would pair that with a grade level, for example, 5th grade, which has a lower number of teachers, for example, right? So basically, Jan would come in and work with those teams on curriculum instruction and assessment, from proficiency scale development, how to connect proficiency scales to common assessments, how to track that, and her work. What that contract represents is what teachers have asked us for. This isn't us saying, hey, we're going to throw Jan at you and just do whatever. We actually survey the staff and find out, first of all, what is your level of satisfaction with the professional development that we've provided you to this point? And then what other professional development would you like to see? And that's how we tailor these contracts and supports for our teachers. And this is actually coming out of last year's funds. So we have around $400,000 in Title II funds for professional development. Okay, give you an idea, the Vegas trip cost us somewhere around $60-some thousand to send 50 people, 48 people to Las Vegas for 4 days.
Would have been less if we didn't lose on that double or nothing.
Right.
My one question is that it talks about, the services are on Exhibit A and you have a schedule of payments, Exhibit B. Those aren't attached to this particular
Right,
contract?
because what we'll do is we'll pay that in one lump sum up front. Because we have to have that
But the list of
money.
services that they're going to provide should be attached to this, so make sure that it is.
Yeah, it is. I didn't include it on this because of so to get it out of this last year's Title II funds, we have to have that spent by September 1st.
Okay.
Or September 30th. So it'll be a one lump sum payment.
But this looks like the
for that.
contract we did last year,
There,
it's just a
yeah.
different money amount.
Yep. That represents 9 days.
Okay.
This contract.
So that's why I was looking for Exhibit A's, because I want to know how many days we get.
Sorry. That was,
That's what I was
left
looking
that
for.
out just because of the payment schedule, because it was not the intent to follow the payment schedule that they provided, because if we don't spend that money by September 30th.
So, yeah, we'll pay a
lose
lump
it.
sum, that's fine, but what this gets us is 9 days of
Yes,
Jan payment.
and we have all of that. I'll
Okay.
send that, have
Okay.
Sherry put that in the board docs.
Okay, anybody else have questions? Do we have a motion to approve?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the Monsanto contract as presented by Mr. Rigby.
A second by Jenny. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
She's a cripple.
Motion carries.
Double knees?
Yeah.
So when they come in and train all 5th grade teachers, then we should send all the 5th graders to the zoo under parent supervision. We don't have to hire any subs that day.
There you go. Absolutely.
I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. I need a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, before you do that, can I?
We have one addition.
I skipped over one topic that I wanted to discuss linked to the strategic plan. That's why I came back to this.
Oh, okay.
In terms of the activities and initiatives that school leaders implement to accomplish mission and district goals, really what I'm referencing is the instructional program that we offer at our secondary and our elementary schools. I know you've received some letters requesting art be added back into the elementary curriculum.
Or at least to have a discussion about it,
Yes.
right?
And I don't know how much information you have. I thought it would be good if Dr. Ingalls and I talked about the K-5 instructional program. As you can see, even in there, it talks about that the instruction...
So I was going to say, because I really do want to have a separate conversation that was requested next month, right, on the agenda. So, because those people that want to say something and be here, I think we should give them notice and an opportunity to be heard. So rather than do that tonight, I'd rather have it on the August 6th agenda where they can come, they can listen, you guys can tell us. I mean, I know we've all talked about having art back in the schools and why that doesn't quite fit yet, but I do want the people that are making the request to be able to have the opportunity to come and talk. So if that's all right with you guys, we'll just have it as a discussion item.
Sounds good.
For August.
I didn't know how you wanted to handle it.
No, that's, like I say, that way at least they know, and it's on a published agenda.
And please, if, before that time occurs, if you have questions and would like to know in terms of the art that we do provide K-5, again,
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you guys will give us some sort of staff presentation on what we do.
Yeah. Please give us a call, we can answer those questions, so.
Okay.
That's all I had then.
Perfect. Now we can adjourn from the regularly scheduled meeting. Yes, you can be excused. So did you have ligaments or what?
Bone spurs and cartilage stuff.
I feel your pain. I had both mine done at the same time, but I had my kneecaps put back on where they belonged, and it was awful. Okay, a motion to recess as a regular board meeting and reconvene in the budget hearing.
So moved.
Second that motion.
Was that Jenny?
That was Jenny, and seconded by Dave. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? They don't want to hear about money. Okay, seeing none, it carries. We are now in our 2019-20 budget hearing. And John, you're going to present something, I'm sure. Quickly, yes. Remember, I have to drive to Cedar City tonight. Okay.
Now, the John Williams corollary of policymaking is that no good decision, or the quality of policymaking drops after 9:30.
Don't go that long.
Exponentially.
I will start
And I'm not going to go that long.
It's candy.
But, okay, so last year I gave you 7 ideas that you're gonna head out, you're gonna talk to the public, and I had 7 ideas, and today it bloomed to 8. I'm sorry. So there's 5 ideas that I want you to...
And he's going to blame it on me.
No, actually, it does not. It's not you. But there are 5 ideas that I want you to understand, looking back, and 3 ideas looking forward to this next year. And the first one is that, remember last year I said it's the year of extraordinary revenue. Well, this year was the year of extraordinary expenditures. And the timing was, I think, just perfect on that. The reason we had the we had a net excess collected plus some tax revenue that came in, and we had extra money. And the state says, great, if you have extra money, if you're above 15% of an expenditure level, the state says, thank you. We are going to send you less money so that you're at the 15%. So looking at this, I just put down some of the things that we have done. At the beginning of the budget last year, we amended the budget to do $624,000. And then this year, we're going to need to amend it a little bit more because we've got the EHS remodel that's coming in. And I'm hearing the number of 300,000, for the project, and some of that is going to be paid for through last year. In other words, they got done through June 30th. So we have to increase that. We have technology purchase of staff computers, so you start adding those things in. So,
if I can, just about the $300,000. We spoke that the project at the high school would be about $100,000 that we take out of the carryover.
Right.
Just because there are certain things we can't purchase with major maintenance money or capital money. One of the additions is the board that we talked about and showed you. That was an unexpected expense. What we hope to do is take that 300 part now, already expended in June and then part later. So the high school, hopefully we'll keep it under 300,000.
Yeah.
All the additions.
So, all right. Overall, I would say the budgets looked pretty healthy. Board was one of the areas, and we overspent by 14, largely due to legal fees, which I put down, it's largely the concealed carry thing. You know, if I were to pull that out, yeah, no problem. At-risk was over. Food service costs were over, both with salaries and direct food costs. I am so excited to have Linda here. You know, that's one of the things that she has been working on, and I think that we will see some great things from that. Special education, there's a little bit of shifting. When they put in, we have certain budget amounts. They underspend in one area, they overspent in others. Partly, there was they did a lot of contracting when they couldn't get certain positions, like I think psychs and
we did do a lot of
OTs and things like
contracting,
that. So there's that area. And then significant savings. You know, if you were to say, all right, your operating budgets, how well did the principals do? They came in within $2,200, combined all the schools together. In other words, they spent their budget. And then there were some unfilled positions, or you have people that, let's say we budgeted for full family insurance, they don't take it, and things. So there's a little bit of I had that 185,000 in there. To kind of get us ready as we play this game, there's transfers that I've loaded in there. I've increased the food service transfer by 160,000. There's some grants. The state changed the name of with one of the grants, and we get to pay for part of that. And then EMS construction. We are nearly done with the old section, and that was like $19 million, and the 24,000 the state won't pay for. And so if you remember, this is kind of old time history finance in this district. Back in 2007, 2008, we paid off all of our bonds, and we received like $800,000. We used $600,000 of it for Clark Elementary to boost up their technology. We parked a little bit for Horizon, and we have about $13,500 or thereabouts, and we're going to basically use that fund balance. So the fund balance is going to drive to zero. There may be a little bit of residual due to interest and things. And then I need a transfer of $9,000, but the idea is that Evanston Middle School is done. Now we're going to start the part two. Well, the part two.
The original.
The original.
Yeah.
And now we're going to work on the second part, but I wanted to finish out the old one first with that. All right. This is the one, remember I said there were 7? This came on today. Okay.
Retirement?
I finished the calculations for Wyoming retirement. It had a rough year. Now, generally speaking, we wouldn't say it's, I'm sure that the superintendent wouldn't want me to say it had a bad year. It really had a bad year.
Well, and they are limited on what they can invest in, and so it sometimes does have a bad year.
I need you to kind of take your mindset and change just a little bit, because what we've been talking about is in the governmental side, the government side, fund balances and things like that. In this one, we're talking about as if the school district is a business. Okay? There are no budgets. We don't budget for any of this. But we have to, with the audit, figure out how much the district, and for that matter, the state, has promised the public employees.
Right.
Okay? In other words, if you make this really rich benefit, can you afford it in the future? And our net pension liability, if we were to value the district as a business, went from 31.7 to 41.4 million. That's an increase of 30% in a year. That's not good. And the plan position, okay, so basically the first one is that we owe more if we were to sell off everything and.
Well, if everybody retired that could retire.
Everyone, yeah.
We no longer have school.
Right.
Sell off all the buildings.
Right.
And things, what everybody's been promised, into the future. That's what this is talking about.
Right.
The second bullet, the plan net position as a percent of public pension liability, what that is that's taking all the assets, all the money, and it's invested in the stock market and other places, and basically right now they can fund 69%, and last year was 76%, and 4 years ago was 80%.
Actually, I don't think they can do the work. I don't think the Constitution prohibits it, but they want to.
I'm sorry, what? What it's saying is that they've got assets.
They have
assets for 69.2%. Now, why am I telling you this today? This is where the board sets in.
As I say, are they going to come back at us and say, increase your contribution?
You will need to talk to legislators. You need to be versed somewhat. I'm not saying you have to, I know how to calculate this. Heavens, I have to have help with our auditors. But you'll need to talk with them. We have increased contributions, but this is a policy decision at the state level that I want you to at least have some working knowledge right now, so you can go in, this is something to be looking at. Okay?
This is an FYI, it doesn't impact our budget.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Unless we're going to quit tomorrow.
It doesn't change fund balance.
I think about what Utah did when they lost their shorts in 2008, their retirement system. They did go back to the government agencies that contribute and did increase the contributions.
And we have been.
When I see that, that's what I think.
We have been, both on the employer side and the employee side. We have been increasing, but if we have more of these type of years, the amount that we're contributing will need to go up.
One of the things we negotiated is a 0.5% increase.
Right.
A 0.25% increase.
And the employees are sharing this.
And a 0.25% by the employees.
Right, that the employees are sharing this.
For the next 2 years.
Right.
So the legislative
it's ongoing.
Body would have to scrap that and go for a higher amount.
Well, and one of the things, I'm not kidding, the Constitution does really limit how they can invest these funds, and it doesn't allow them to really maximize the potential.
They're very, very.
And they have run, I think, at least twice, they've run legislation, or a bill that would get it on the ballot, and the voters always voted down to change the Constitution.
They're afraid of the penny stock kind of stuff.
Right.
What committee would this have to come from, John, to be presented?
Whoever is governing, and I'm sorry, I don't know which committee, but there is a governing legislative committees on both sides that look at Wyoming retirement.
Board.
Appropriations, I think.
And then I'm sure, appropriations and, a couple of, but this is.
Something to watch.
I just want you to have this on your radar so that, if something happens, you're not saying, well, gosh, no one told me.
Why didn't we know?
Yeah.
Well, the city of Detroit going bankrupt and not paying any pensions. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back into looking at this as if we're a government. Okay? So we're talking about fund balances. How much cash do we have in things? So the 100 calculates our cash reserve cap for this year. And our estimated fund balance will be, and the cap is, as you see, it's 6.5. And then our fund balance right now, and again, I've got another month. There's revenues that need to come in. There's things that, you didn't think about this and things, but we're tracking about 5.4. Of that 5.4, if you pull out 304,000, that's the inventories. So we have warehouse inventories, transportation, gasoline is a big part of that. And then there's 194,000 in tax shortfall grants. We didn't get everything that the state calculates. And so when I get the 100 back, I pop in the numbers, and they say, oops, you're going to get 194,000. What is that? That's the merit. Remember merit energy stop? They said, okay, you got to pay us back. Well, we get 194 this year, and we'll get it in October. And so kind of pushing those numbers.
It pushes us up under 15.
Well, yes, we're under 15, and we're in fact, for me, this is about the sweet spot. The sweet spot for me is about 10% to 13% fund balance. Anything more, and at the end of the year, you have business managers, superintendents, and people going, we've got to spend down, and we've got to buy XYZ at the end of the year, and that's not a good time to be making financial decisions. You're making hurry-up decisions that, so about 13% I can deal with. So what I'm saying is that, going back to that first slide, we had a spend down, and I think we timed it right, is what I'm saying. All right, so let's look forward. There's a couple caveats. The first is that transportation, special education reimbursements are an estimate as of today. And even the revenue, the more time I spend doing this, the more Byzantine it becomes. I mean, it's just all of a sudden it's like, okay, this calculation. So special education used to be just a reimbursement.
Right.
Well, now what it is that if we spend more than we spent last year, I think we're there, but we'll see. And if we have high-cost kids, so that, who are they?
Placements.
Placements at CBRV
Right.
or some other place.
Right.
That amount, so let's say we spend $300,000, which is pretty close to what we have spent. That amount goes into a pot when everybody else turns in their 100 and all the state reporting in August. And all of those high-cost kids, so our $300,000 competes against everybody else's amounts, and they have $1 million pot to divide out. So I don't even know on the special revenue or special education if we get more money. We could be getting more money. That's my hope.
But if not, we had to pay for those services. That's
Yeah.
kind of-
Right.
We have paid for it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's the first idea, is just, hold everything. Guaranteed amount from the state. So the general fund has a guarantee of 39.6. We're going to add some other things. Interest, by the way, has been really great. Okay.
Yes, it's finally gone up.
Yes, I'm finally going, okay, we can do things with that. There's Wyoming retirement reimbursements and things, so that increases to about 40.4, and then I have a tax shortfall grant that I'm putting in there. Now, as part of the budget, we did not budget the tax shortfall grant. We wanted to have a balanced budget without the tax shortfall grant, okay? Because all that's going to do is just move fund balance around. And we were able to do that, although the $150,000, okay, I'm estimating that we're going to spend about $150,000 on EMS, or EHS, excuse me. I parked that in there, so it basically creates a surplus of about $56,000. So the short of it is, you walk away, 8 ideas. 8th idea is that we do have a balanced budget. It's balanced without the tax shortfall grant and remodel, although when you put the remodel in, it drops it down a little bit. The district will receive $194,000 in October for merit energy payout.
However you look at it.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is this looks at last year's and this year's, and as you see on there, these are what activities are we supporting? Okay. So, for instance, regular instruction is the big column, and there's been a increase in that. The admin board, insurance and tech one, that one is, remember, Jaren's department is in there, and tech is quite a big amount. And so when we add payroll amounts in there, that's really what you're seeing in there. But this gives you a okay, where was it last year, where is it this year, and so on. The next one looks at, all right, what do we plan to buy? And as near as I've analyzed this, the big thing I see is that there's been a decrease in the supplies, an increase in salaries. That's kind of the big takeaway. So, any questions? We'll get you on the road.
God bless people like you that like numbers, Sean.
Okay,
That's all I gotta
all
say.
right.
Is that really the end?
That's just one of the three components.
Yes, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
we got,
Okay.
now we have to go first to the budget adjustments,
Okay.
because we have a motion to
Feel
make.
like it's done.
Also, this right here, there's a major change. I don't know if you've had a chance, hopefully you've had a chance to look at this. I've tried to give, for Kay's sake in particular, I tried to give you, here's how the sausage is ground. I mean, it gives you, on a
Yeah,
certain
that's-
month, this is what we typically get and things, and it's looking at that. And so, we're gonna hold off on going through that. Unless you would like to go or through it, I can. Or do it, we can do it after.
No.
Okay, great.
I'll read it by myself.
All right, thank you. Okay. So
Tell us how we're adjusting the budget.
okay. I think, I'd like to use this one. Let's use this one.
Is that similar?
Yes.
It's slightly changed.
We're getting down to the business.
Okay. Most of the adjustments on the budget are just due, like I said, to those oddball stuff, and then there's a little bit of shifting. Let's do this.
Just, give me the red line version, how's that?
Yep. We are not going to be here at 9:30. No.
Again, I can't throw candy.
Policy decisions go downhill fast after 9:30. So, okay, so basically, what we're seeing here, I want to show you the transportation services, that's been grossed up due to EHS. That's the big gross up there.
Hit the autofocus on that, and you can zoom in too.
I might do those things.
Okay.
That's a little better.
I keep clicking something and it goes
Right,
away. Kinda like
okay,
that.
oh, good.
There we go. Wait.
You can shut off the light again.
Okay.
There we go.
It'll adjust. Maybe.
The two big areas on the general fund
Get your iPhone flashlight out.
is the transfer to other funds. Remember I told you about
Right.
we want to we're protecting food service, so there's a little bit of that there. And then the EMS, there's an amount with that. Other than that, it's basically during the course of the year the things that we've seen.
So you adjusted our investment and interest earnings downward.
Yeah, that'll be way up, and I should have just left it. I adjusted it downward during the year, and
When we had a bad
we're
quarter.
going to be at,
Like I said, the last quarter was awesome.
It's been great. So, special revenue funds. Some of this is information that comes in after June 30th of last year. So we get the consolidated grant, and this 25,000. Remember was the generator, the 74,000 is the Dara bus and things, and then we get some grants that come in after the fact, after June 30th, and things. And so that's basically grossing up their to the award amount that they have. Capital Construction Fund, this one, all it's really doing is just, we're saying, hey, $93,000, or $9,300 for that transfer, and then we'll use that fund balance that's there, and we'll be done with that. There'll be, in the budget, there's about another $800,000 for the roof that's going into this next year's budget.
That damn roof.
Yes, fix it. Okay. Lunch fund, like I said, that there was some Food service costs, I thought, really kind of spiked a little bit, and there were some payroll amounts. And so I just increased the community support and the transfers there. So, last but not least, you will be approving, hopefully. It's not always the mill amounts, and there's also this budget appropriation amounts. All this is just the totals of all of those groups together on there. So I want to tell everyone that I appreciate the work that has gone with different departments and the superintendents and board members and EEA and things. You know, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. And so, any questions? Anything that, again, if there's something that you go, I just don't get this,
So I have 3 to
call me up and I will sit down with you and we'll sit down and tell you, at least you can see the numbers that I've seen.
All right, so first thing then we need to do is approve the budget adjustments for fiscal year 2018 and 19.
So moved.
I think Kay had a question.
Oh, sorry, Kay.
It's not so much a question, it could probably wait till the end of this.
No, go ahead.
I just want to thank John. I know he always teases me about it. This is done for me, but if you read through, it really does kind of explain how the funds come about and that. And those are questions that we do get asked out there. And how do you fund a school? It still can't answer them all, but it's really helped clarify because we used to just get these line item numbers.
No, this is much better.
Yeah, and I know I asked him years ago to do something a little more thorough. Not that he has to present it, but that we have it. And so, John, I really appreciate this. It takes, probably took you a lunch break to put all this together, didn't it?
Couple of.
Yeah.
No, and I will echo that, Kay. I mean, we know how much work you put into this, John, and bless you for doing it because not everybody likes numbers. But you're able to come here and sort of make it, somewhat a 6th grade level.
Okay, so again, questions, give me a call.
There we go. All right. We are going to now, somebody made a motion to approve the...
Jenny did.
Jenny did. Okay, made a motion to approve the 18-19 budget adjustments. Do I have a second?
I can second that.
Tammy, second. Any further discussion on the budget adjustments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that carries. Next, we have the request to approve a 28.7 mil tax levy. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the 28.7
7, correct.
tax mill levy.
Okay, motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Kay. Any discussion? Other than to say, this does include all of the other mill levies for the BOCES 5, for everybody else that we do as a piggyback, and so that's the total package. Okay. All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Motion carries. Last but not least, the pièce de résistance, the adoption of next year's budget, the 2019-20 budget for the district.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the 2019-20 budget as presented.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Caleb. Any further discussion? No, and yes, the board is still very on board with a balanced budget. Thank you, John. Yes, we don't like that deficit spending that the federal government does. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the budget is approved. I need a motion to adjourn the budget hearing and reconvene as a regular board meeting.
So motion.
Okay, Caleb made the motion.
I will second that.
Tammy second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Terrific. Looky there, guys. It's still daylight. I know. All right, we're on roundtable. Everybody's had a good summer, nothing to report, nothing to say? Okay.
Slow it down a little bit.
I guess that's really sort of, then if nobody has any roundtable conversations or discussions, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second that motion.
Okay, Jenny moved, Dave second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ta-da! It's daylight. I just want y'all to see that.
And a budget hearing.
And a budget hearing.
And I have something for everybody to sign.
Okay, we've got signatures, so those that,
All moved very slowly.
thank you guys very much. And